One moment, please. The CBS network program has been interrupted by difficulties somewhere along the incoming line. We hope for quick restoration. Channel 4 is not receiving the CBS network picture or sound. The trouble should be found and corrected momentarily. We appreciate your patience. The loss of our network programming is beyond the control of Channel 4. The problem should be located and corrected shortly.
Secondary having a great year, too. Hayes, Osteen, Davis, and Owen.
They lead the league in interceptions. They can really play the close man-to-man coverage.
Number 37 at the bottom of your picture is Hayes, and he's the league leader with 11.
They're crowding them now. They're crowding the Cowboys right now.
Ron Springs replaces Newhouse, and that's Springs to the outside. Dropped it, stopped by Rod Martin.
And nobody to throw to downfield. Danny White looked downfield and then just dumped it out to Springs. Rod Martin plays the outside, too. He's been cut a couple of times and has come back now to make Al Davis's selection look pretty good.
Keeps bouncing back. And Al Davis, who has done quite a rebuilding job, as has Tom Landry and Tex Schramm and the Cowboy organization. Butch Johnson, Preston Pearson in the offensive picture now. Butch comes out wide to the right. Preston Pearson stays back in the backfield.
And Mullen moved into the line. They're going to put a rush on.
A lot of people feel that's the best way to counteract the shotgun that's intended for Butch Johnson. Otis McKinney, the fifth defensive back for Oakland, is on the defense, and Danny White will stay in a punt.
And the thing they say about the Oakland defense, it never lines up the same way twice. Hendricks even goes on his own a lot, but it's hard to look at movies and films and try to get a game plan because they're never in the same thing twice.
As a rule, they start with a 3-man front, and then they make a lot of changes. Sometimes 6 defensive backs, sometimes 5 as they had then. Sometimes a 4-man front.
Look out for Ira Matthews.
He is back deep for Oakland. Danny White to punt. Under a pretty good rush, and Matthews will field it at the 45, and Oakland will start in good shape. Down inside the 35 to the 34. It'll be 1st and 10 Oakland. Benny Barnes made the tackle, but the Raiders come out with a lot of smoke. 33-yard kick by White.
And remember, they've already gotten the idea that Washington is kicking San Diego around. This would really be a notch on the belt for them to knock this one off today. Move ahead in the division.
The Oakland offensive line, Shell, Upshaw, the veterans, Dalby, another veteran, one of 2 centers the franchise has had. Marvin Lawrence and Raymond Chester, the tight end.
There's Brant, Bobby Chandler, who's a great one-on-one receiver, Plunkett, Jensen, and Van Egan.
2 fullbacks operating for Oakland. And Plunkett goes back to work. Pulls it down and throws high, intended for one of his fullbacks, Derek Jensen. Looking back into the sunlight, and Plunkett hung it a little too high. Charlie Waters back with him.
And Randy White came in and actually got part of Plunkett. The pocket stayed together pretty decently for the first play. Again, it was run action with 2 big running backs in there. Here it is, Jones, Cole, Randy White, and Harvey Martin. Watch for Harvey Martin against Shell. Quickness can beat Shell.
The Dallas linebackers, Hegman, Brunig at the middle, and D.D. Lewis.
Barnes, Mitchell, Waters, and Thurman for Stallings secondary, and they're beginning to play really good football back there.
It'll be 2nd and 10 Oakland. At the Dallas 34. Dallas goes into the flex, and Plunkett gets to Matthews. Nothing doing is Larry Cole, who was sick overnight with a dose of the flu. Here's the final score. The Falcons beat the Eagles.
Almost made it into overtime, didn't it? Here's the flex. You can see Larry Cole is up on the far side, and Too Tall Jones is coming inside to seal it off. And, of course, the fellow that scores touchdowns against the Redskins made a good penetration tackle.
In the Atlanta-Philadelphia game, Tim Mazzetti kicked a 37-yard field goal with 7 seconds left to win for Atlanta. Blitz is on. Raymond Chester beats it, as does Plunkett. First down Oakland.
Randy Hughes made the tackle, but that time the Cowboys came with a blitz. It up. Let's take a look at it. Working on. There's Cole being picked up. Plunkett just did get it away. A great play by the quarterback. Plunkett had to hang in there.
Dennis Thurman from his safety position. 14-yard gain, 1st down Oakland at the Dallas 23. Dallas victory today then would tie them with Philadelphia for the lead in the NFC East. Atlanta will continue to lead Los Angeles, depending upon what happens to them against Buffalo. Chandler in motion. Van Egan, the ball carrier. Couple. Right now, let's go to Brent Musburger in the NFL Today. Mike Hegman finally makes it down. At the 21-yard line, gain of 2. It'll be 2nd and 8.
All right, Pat Summerall. Now, here's the situation in Philadelphia. There was an interception by the Eagles that was nullified that gave Atlanta this chance. 7 seconds to go in regulation time. Atlanta beats the Eagles 2017, and Atlanta's in the playoffs. Back to Pat Summerall.
Plunkett on 2nd and 8 went to Van Egan. And as so many of the Dallas Cowboys did in pregame warm-up, Van Egan slipped down after being wide open. D.D. Lewis made sure he stayed there.
And this is the pass that Jimmy Plunkett is not supposed to be able to pull off. The short passes have always given him trouble. He's got the great long arm, but lately, particularly the last 2 or 3 games, the short passing game has sort of deserted him. But that was a real good play again for Plunkett.
It's the final score. Buffalo beat Los Angeles 10-7. A field goal of 36 yards by Mickemeyer with just over 9 minutes to go, and the Bills beat Los Angeles So Atlanta moves further ahead. And Oakland moves further down the field as Kenny King, who was not supposed to play, gets the carry.
He's got a badly sprained ankle. He's been limping around all week, but he's the outside speed that the Raider attack really needs. If they go with just two big backs, Dallas can really cut down their options. But if Kenny King can play at all today, now he's leaving and he's limping a little bit, but that was a big carry then on first down.
Oakland now will operate with the two fullbacks, Derek Jensen and Mark Van Egan at 2nd and 5. The line of scrimmage, the Dallas 6. No score yet, but Oakland at the door. Plunkett drops. Good protection, penalty marker down. Chester touchdown.
Looks like offensive holding.
And now the indicators against Dallas.
They tried to hold Raymond Chester up on the line of scrimmage. Let's see if the big tight end, see if he can pick it up now. By the way, the pass protection is excellent. Here's Harvey Martin to the outside. Shell's doing the job on him. And evidently somebody grabbed Raymond Chester as he came off the line of scrimmage. Good-looking play and a great-looking drive by Oakland.
Enforced on the kickoff.
You heard the call from the referee, Jerry Markbright, that the penalty will be enforced on the kickoff. The Vikings and the Buccaneers. Minnesota winning, eliminating Tampa Bay from playoff possibilities. 21-10 the final.
Barr has missed 2 extra points in 36 attempts.
Last week was a really tough time. Bob Chandler is the holder. Barr. The extra point is good. And the Raiders, with 10 minutes, 1 second left first quarter, lead 7-0 over Dallas.
Impressively, too. They took it and shoved it right on in, didn't they?
Remember, there will be a penalty enforced on the kickoff. 7-0 Oakland.
Excuse me. I'm not the same crazy coach who used to storm around the sidelines yelling at the officials. I've learned to relax, and I drink light beer from Miller. Do you know that light's got 1/3 less calories than a regular beer? And listen to this. Light doesn't fill me up. Besides that, light tastes fantastic. Oh, sure, there are a lot of other beers around, and you can drink any one you want. But let me tell you this. For
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
As I was saying, I don't care what anybody else...
Well, looks like you lead a comfortable life.
I do okay.
Now, let me tell you something. You do better in comfortable clothes. Like Hager Magic Stretch.
Hey, a stretch waistband.
Special stretch woven fabric, too.
Nice.
And Hager has lots of great looks that won't squeeze your wallet. In Hager Magic Stretch, you'll feel as good as you look.
What could be better?
You couldn't ask for more than Hager, especially for the holidays.
At the Oakland Alameda County Coliseum, Pat Summerall of Tom Brookshire. Barr will kick off from midfield after Randy White was called for an illegal head slap.
Head slap, huh? That, by the way, is the 3rd touchdown catch for Chester, former #1 draft choice that went to Baltimore and then came back home. But he's one of the fastest of all the tight ends. He also blocks on the line of scrimmage. Some tight ends these days are just outside receivers, but he can actually block, too.
Barr to kick off from the 50. A spiral on the kickoff to James Jones. I don't recall having seen that before. For another NFL Today report, let's go to Brent Musburger.
Pat, thank you very much. Here's the field goal you mentioned in overtime by Buffalo that downed the Los Angeles Rams. The Rams are now in big trouble. If Atlanta beats San Francisco next Sunday, then they wrap up the NFC West. The final again, Buffalo 10, Los Angeles 7. Let's send you back to Pat Summerall.
Oakland leads Dallas 7-0. Touchdown pass from Plunkett to Raymond Chester. Dallas now with the football, their 2nd possession of the day. Billy Joe Dupree swings in motion. Tony Dorsett off to the left side.
Pat, the perfect example of how Hendricks plays from the linebacking spot. As I've told you, he's allowed to go on his own sometimes, and he's such a good natural football player that he can still get back and cover a zone on the drop. That time, he just fogged in behind the play and actually made the tackle from behind on the far side of the formation.
The Mad Stork, who is 6'7", and 225 or thereabouts. He may be a little bit heavier than that now, but playing perhaps the best football of his career.
Used to be a defensive end. He could play that well, too.
Jay Saldi lines up as the tight end on the right side now as Drew Pearson goes in motion. The handoff is to Newhouse. And Newhouse breaks a couple of tackles, as he always seems to be able to do, and rolls around for about a pickup of 4. Rod Martin finally made the tackle.
You're not going to make a living, though, running against this Oakland defense. They've held the opposition to the lowest total per rush, 3.4 per rush. 102 yards total is all they allow, and they make you pay for every single yard. Boy, Newhouse really got hit.
And now Dallas will operate on 3rd and 1 from their own 29 with 3 tight ends. Cosby, Saldi, and Dupree. Saldi moved over to the left behind Cosby now. And now Saldi comes back on the outside maneuver. Dallas tries for the first down. Looks like they have it. Matuzak. A reformed John Matuzak.
Is he something, though? They say he's conscientious, but I'll tell you one thing, he's a load. Watch him, number 72 to the left part of your screen. He's 6'8" or 9", about 285. And when you see him just in street clothes, he looks like he weighs about 185 until you walk up next to him.
The Browns beat the Jets 17-14, and Cleveland continues to roll, upping their record to 9-4. They had trailed for a long time. 10-4 make it. White, with a lot of time, chased by Hendricks. Fires for Dupree, and he has it. Pickup of about 5. Hendricks all over Danny White. Mike Davis made the tackle on Dupree.
And notice now, when the receivers get the ball, they're immediately tackled. A good man-to-man defensive team, and there are not many of them around in the NFL these days. Here's Hendricks putting on pressure from the outside. Actually almost has a sack. And Dupree, as soon as he takes the ball, he's already being hit by Mike Davis, a young man out of Colorado. They really climb on top of your receivers in a hurry.
4-yard pickup after all that. Raymond Chester, who scored the touchdown for Oakland, number 88. Dorsett takes into the secondary. A Tony hit by Burgess Owens, and had it not been for Owens, Dorsett was off to the races. First down, Dallas.
Donovan and Herb Scott did a great job on the left side. Now look at the center now. That's Fitzgerald. He gets good position. Donovan just buried the inside man that filled that hole, the linebacker. It's a pretty good-looking pop play.
Dorsett goes out to get a little breather. That first down by Dallas puts him up at their own 47-yard line as you look at the Oakland coach and their ex-quarterback, Tom Flores.
Dallas has been throwing on first down. Now they're going to run this dog. They'll throw him again.
Danny White looking deep. Incomplete. Good coverage by Oakland. Intended for James Jones, and 3 Raiders all around him.
Well, Willie Brown, you know, that played so many great years of all-pro ball here at Oakland. He's in charge of the secondary. And he says, Tom, I tell him to go up and take that first hit inside 5 yards and play the heck out of him with a free safety, man-to-man.
Perhaps you saw that final score. Washington 40, San Diego 17. And that makes this an even bigger game for the Oakland Raiders.
I can hear him warming the engine up in the driver's seat, they call it, right?
In his truck. Pearson and Hill both split wide to the right. Dorsett and Timmy Newsom now the setback for Dallas, and this is Dorsett. Looking but finding no place to go as Hendricks converges with some help from Bob Nelson.
Again, look how the play was foiled right from the start. Here's the 34. That's Kinlaw over the nose there. He beat out Pear, who's one of the great nosemen. A couple years ago was all-pro. Good reaction out of the 34. Look at 62 move right over in front of the hole. And they got it from the backside.
San Diego's record, by the way, after that loss to Washington is 9-5. Oakland 9-4 coming into this contest. Third down and 10 at the 47 from the shotgun.
Look, everybody's in the line of scrimmage on defense. They got all 11 men up.
A lot of them blitz. Preston Pearson. Preston steps out of one tackle and finally steps out of bounds. Can't tell yet whether he got the first down or not. He's very near, however.
Jeff Barnes finally just barely did get enough on him to force him out. I have never seen a defense like this since the old Chicago Bears deal. They were all 11 within a yard of the line of scrimmage. And, Patrick, you're right. They came from everywhere. Good play here by Barnes.
The only difference was when the Bears played it, it was before the forward pass.
Well, they used to keep hitting you all the way to the end zone. There's never so many deviated septums around the league in those days.
No face mask and very few helmets. 5:27 left first quarter. White to Dorsett. Burgess Owens, the safety man, made the tackle on Tony D. And again, looks like he might need a rest for a moment. He got about 8.
To a man, though, after the Redskin game, they talked to the Redskin people, and every one of the Redskin players says the Cowboys are not physical. Now, they didn't say they weren't great or good. They finesse you, they do the execution, the technique is superb, but they are not a physical team, and Oakland is a physical team.
Maybe easier that way, that finesse way. Across the bay, the Saints 7, the 49ers nothing at Candlestick. Dorsett deep in the eye. Dorsett again rambles into the Oakland secondary down to the 20 behind a good block by Timmy Newsom.
And Fitzgerald is working at offensive center. He plays hurt a lot. Dorsett, of course, heading for another 1,000-yard year. If he gets it, he'll be the first guy ever to have 1,004 in a row. Good trap block by Rafferty coming across, too. That's a big hole. Again, against the 34, you can run at the bubble. You can run at those linebackers. But you got to block the nose man, and you got to hold off that defensive end. Good job.
You know, we talked to Fitzgerald before the game. He is not the offensive center. It's 52, Robert Shaw.
Is Shaw in there playing?
Shaw is playing now. In fact, I asked Fitz before the game if he was going to play it. He said no. And so Shaw is getting a chance and doing a good job. Dorsett moves inside the 20, stopped by Nelson again. Cowboy fans, some of them, in fact, have made the trip. You could tell by the noise in the hotel last night.
All night. These people with blue and white never went to sleep last night, I tell you.
It'll be second down now from the 20 as Oakland stopped that last effort for no gain. The Raiders lead the Cowboys 7-0. Touchdown pass from Jim Plunkett to Raymond Chester.
Oakland's up crowd in the line of scrimmage again.
One man deep. Cowboys give to Dorsett, and Dorsett will score. Dorsett on the outside, trap blocked by Jay Saldi.
He now has 61 yards. He's heading for 1,000. He only needs about 5 or 6 more. Again, you run straight at it. If everybody is strung out all the way across the field, if you can get 2 good blocks. Boys, a good block by Scott on the linebacker, and a superb block.
And a good block by Timmy Newsom as well. And Dorsett doesn't need much more than that.
That's one of the slickest, fastest drives you'll ever see. It didn't seem like it had much going. Half the way through it, it looked like it was going to sputter, and then it took off.
A lot of that finesse you were talking about was involved in that one. It'll be Charlie Waters holding. Raquel Septien kicking. He has 51 in a row this year. Make it 5-2. And make the score in this contest, Dallas 7, Oakland 7. The drive put together like a picture puzzle.
Introducing the totally new Lynx from Lincoln Mercury. Lynx is not only the most fuel-efficient American-built wagon, Lynx is the first one with front-wheel drive and fully independent suspension. Starting today, the world belongs to an American car. Starting today, the world belongs to Lynx.
Here's another Radio Shack Christmas gift idea. Our exclusive Science Fair 150-in-1 electronic project kit, just $29.95. Learn electronics by building safe, solderless battery and solar radios, transmitters, computer circuits, electronic sound effects, even LED digital readouts. Give 150 gifts they'll enjoy long after Christmas. The Super Science Fair Kits, only at Radio Shack, your Christmas electronics store.
Next week, a Super Sports Saturday, the Giants battle the Redskins, followed by the Mixed Team Golf Classic and the Sports Spectacular with figure skating and the Great American Truck Race next Saturday on CBS Sports.
I have heard of 10-gallon hats. That looks like about a 30-gallon hat.
But he's got 10 burritos in that thing.
3:07 left to play in the first quarter in Oakland, as Septien will kick off. Matthews and Moody back deep. This is Keith Moody. To the 10. Still spinning. To the 16, perhaps.
Crosby did a good job of getting down there and throwing the big tight end, number 84.
And Guy Brown finally made the tackle after Crosby made him commit. So Oakland will take over at their own 16. First and 10 with 2:55 left in the first quarter. It's Dallas 7, Oakland 7.
Introducing the revolutionary twin action shaving system engineered to outperform twin blades. The new Norelco Rotatract razor. Inside 3 floating heads, Rotatract works like twin blades to grip hair. Raise it up, then razor it off, hundreds of times a second, for a shave that's twin blade close without a nick or cut. The new twin action Norelco Rotatract razor, cord and rechargeable. Twin blade closeness, but no gotcha.
Watch out. Winter's almost here, and wind's gonna get you, and cold's gonna get you, and high fuel bills are gonna get you, because you still haven't added more insulation to your attic. So do it now. Get more Owens Corning fiberglass insulation and add another layer to put your house in the pink. See your dealer or contractor. Buy more Owens Corning fiberglass insulation now, before winter gets you.
Monday, it's a
great big knockdown, drag-out party.
Flo gives a friend a final send-off, but will Farley make her wing-ding a downer? Find out Monday night.
Must say that the people in Oakland, the Oakland organization, have been very, very gracious to us. And that welcome, I know, is sincere, and we thank you. First and 10 at the 16 for the silver and black. Outside the 25 and almost a first down before Charlie Waters made the tackle. And let's see who they
ran
jumped on.
Right at Randy White. Let's see where Randy went. They were pulled off the line. The flex was back in sort of a bowed position that time. Let's take a look at it. Well, maybe we won't take a look at it.
Yes, we will.
All right, quickly from behind Van Eegen. Let's see what happened. Brunick also got caught inside, and Randy White was outside.
Dave Dalby, the offensive center, did the number on Brunick. Van Eegen this time will have the first down. Charlie Waters again led the defensive surge. He only needed about a half yard, and he got it.
Remember the days when Shell and Upshaw on that left side, and of course Dalby, he's only the second center they've ever had in this town. It was Jim Otto and then Dalby, right? They used to run left about as well as any team I ever saw from that left formation.
Which just goes to show and prove again how intelligent they are. Because when you have those two over there, you might as well take advantage of them. It'll be first and 10 at the 27. 7-7, Dallas Oakland. Up to about the 30 is Mark Van Eegen. This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League. It's intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Oakland Raiders and the National Football League is prohibited.
One thing you've got to worry about defensively, you've got to double Cliff Branch most of the time because he can still probably get a 9-300 number 21. But that also makes Bob Chandler, a solo coverage effort that is hard to do. It's very tough to do it.
Benny Barnes has Chandler out wide to the right, Frank wide to the left. Plunkett looking in that direction and throwing, and has Frank out of bounds. Incomplete. Aaron Mitchell on the coverage.
Aaron was laying off about 10 yards. I saw on the play before, but he recovered and boosted the whole play out of bounds. Good recovery by the cornerback. Upshaw doing a good job, and Art Shell is doing a real good job on Harvey Martin. It was out of bounds, all right.
It was a good call. He got 1 foot down on the white surface, which of course is out of bounds. Tiptoed in on the green grass.
But be careful. He runs the up as well as anybody. He'll run a 9 and run right by you.
That play then could be just as effective as a complete pass, because you have to keep all that in mind. 3rd and 6 at the 31. Plunkett has time. Chased by White. Waters might have deflected and intended for Bob Chandler, and Waters may have gotten a hand on it.
Looked like it went right through Chandler's hands, but I think Waters did get a piece of it. Again, the nickel defense, and Dallas plays it extremely well. Those guys on the underneath side make it very tough for a quarterback to find anybody.
Cowboys had a couple of guys who got sick last night. They think some kind of flu. Ironically, it was Cole and Dutton, both of whom play the same position.
This fellow can really punt it. He was getting 5-second hang times before the game.
He is also their third quarterback. Mark Wilson is Plunkett's backup at the moment, as Pastorini has not yet been activated. Ray Guy, long, one of the outstanding punters in the league. This is not one of his best. James Jones will let it bounce. And Dallas will take over at the 25 as the Raiders down it. Jeff Barnes was down. And Ray Guy with a plastic jacket underneath his regular black Oakland jersey. 7-7.
Here's to good friends. Tonight is kind of special.
This is Rally Leader. You out there, Chuck? We're pedaling as fast as we can. Everybody else is here. Where are you?
Well, we've got ourselves sort of a weight handicap.
How'd that happen?
You guys just
Brought the bread and cheese. We got a whole trunk full of Lowenbrow.
When you want the taste of a truly great American beer, tonight, let it be Lowenbrow.
Well, we're glad you made it. Us or the Lowenbrow?
The first electronic football games like these were for only one player.
End run.
But something was missing.
Can I play? Wait your turn.
Then along came head-to-head electronic football by Coleco.
Now we can play at the same time. I'm offense. I'm defense.
With head-to-head, you're really in the game. A power sweep. He fights through for the tackle. You pass. He blitzes. Intercepts.
This is real competition.
Why settle for a one-player game when you can have it all? Play alone, against the computer, or for real competition, play
head-to-head.
Why settle for less?
Next Saturday, some of the best men and women golfers on the tour pair up for a test of strategy and teamwork in the Mixed Team Golf Classic. All part of a Super Sports Saturday next week on CBS.
That's the final score. Cincinnati 34, Baltimore 33.
Oh. Remember, this opposite team has scored 51 touchdowns, but 2 of those games were when they were blowing somebody out, San Francisco and Seattle.
Gives to Dorsett again, straight up the middle this time. Tony Dorsett gets a couple. It is 7-7 at the Coliseum in Oakland.
You know, I've always wondered why coaches don't go quickly to the unbalanced line, the one that Joe Kuharich made so famous, the unbalanced line against the 34 defense. Then the nose guard has to decide whether to get over the center or over the overbalanced side of the offensive line. I think it'd give them something to think about.
Come and count them up.
All right, there may be some coaches listening to this. Dorsett now has passed the 1,000-yard mark for the 4th consecutive year as a pro. He did it 4 years in college, and he did it before that in high school. The throw is to Dorsett. He'll have a first down and more. Out of bounds in front of the Dallas bench by Rod Martin.
Got a good block by Scott on the outside. Boy, this is some good catch. Watch the catch of this ball by Dorsett. Everybody's man-to-man and banging the receivers. Danny takes one look at it. Watch Scott's block. That's the one that sprung him, but that was a good catch of the football.
He looked it all the way in, as they say you should do. And Dallas has a first down at the 41-yard line. The end of the first quarter finds the score Dallas 7 and Oakland 7.
When there's nothing but mud where the road used to be, and you feel like your car is working overtime, it's nice to have this gas-saving Toyota pulling for you. Introducing the 1981 front-wheel drive Toyota Corolla Tercel. The Toyota Tercel, a car that pulls its own weight. And a little bit more.
Tercel! Excuse me. I'm not the same crazy coach who used to storm around the sidelines yelling at the officials. I've learned to relax, and I drink light beer from Miller. Do you know that light's got 1/3 less calories than a regular beer? And listen to this. Light doesn't fill me up. Besides that, light tastes fantastic. Oh, sure, there are a lot of other beers around, and you can drink any one you want. But let me tell you this.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
As I was saying, I don't care what anybody else...
STP, a big name in racing for nearly 20 years. STP oil treatment on the track in some of the world's most expensive engines. Around the track, around the world, every day, tens of thousands of people get STP oil treatment. Get it for your car. Satisfaction guaranteed. Around the track, around the world, STP oil treatment is #1.
And about 285. Watch number 72 now. Put the pressure on Cooper, the tackle, and end up gets Billy Joe Dupree in it too. Almost a head slap. He takes Billy Joe, throws him behind the formation, then continues looking for somebody else to hit. Cooper stays with him pretty good, though. Good footwork.
Cooper did a good job. Billy Joe Dupree got his number. 1st and 10 from the 41. First play of the second quarter as Ron Springs is in the backfield with Dorsett now. Danny White, the quarterback, will throw on first. As Jay Soudy for another Dallas first down inside Oakland territory to the 46. Bob Nelson made the tackle. Dallas offense looks sharp.
The continuing story of Matuzak against Cooper. Cooper's given away about 30 pounds. Oh, that is some kind of a forearm shiver from underneath. And bangs him on the top of the head, but the job was done by the offensive lineman. And, of course, the better they do their job, the more they have to play football. It's not like defense, you know.
Across the bay in San Francisco, the New Orleans Saints winless all year long. 14-0 over San Francisco. Dick Stanfield's second game. That's Dorsett behind Scott. And a couple as Scott got out in good shape. The Raiders played it well, led by Ted Hendricks.
Scott ran right over Mike Davis. The safety man came up. Scott ran over him and didn't break stride, but pretty well played by the defense. There's Dante Pastorini, the former Houston quarterback. Was all right here until he broke his leg early in the year.
We were talking with the Oakland people yesterday, and I was asking if they had any plans to activate Dante, and they said nope. Not unless something happens to Plunkett. He got us there, and we're going to stick with him. Tony Dorsett has just set an NFL rushing record with 1,000 yards in his first 4 seasons. Never been done before. Springs bangs for a first down. Burgess Owens makes the tackle. Springs down near the Oakland 35.
Watch Rafferty come across from right guard and trap the nose man. Let's see what happens on it. But 64, watch the right part of your screen. Scott goes over and takes the nose man. He takes the linebacker and buries him. And Springs is one of the great straight-ahead runners. He really hits with a shock.
That's when he is so effective.
He's been very quiet this year, too.
He gets headed up the field. He can get some things done. He's back there still with Dorsett now as Newhouse gets the rest. Dorsett goes behind Springs. Deep in the eye as Drew Pearson comes in motion. White looking for Tony Hill. Has Tony Hill. Looking right back into that bright sunshine. I don't think Hill picked it up.
And you talk about tight man-to-man. Lester Hayes is running stride for stride with Hill. Most people think you got to double Tony Hill and take your chance with Drew Pearson, but they're playing solo man-to-man tough coverage.
Lester Hayes, Lester the molester, as they call him here, has had a spectacular year.
He's had 3 interceptions, including a touchdown, called back, and he still has 11 legally.
And called back not because of something he did. There was a violation elsewhere.
Lester the molester?
That's creative. 2nd and 10 at the 35. White again looking in the direction of Tony Hill and severely overthrown as he was covered by Dwayne Osteen. Here's Hill.
Tony Hill now playing against that coverage. They'll get it right on you. That's Dwayne Osteen.
Familiar territory here in Oakland, this area, to Tony Hill, to Pat Donovan. Stanford.
Benny Barnes.
Benny Barnes. So it'll be 3rd and 10 from the 35.
They're all up on the line of scrimmage again.
Billy Joe Dupree and Drew Pearson out wide to the right. Butch Johnson, Hill to the left, and Preston Pearson back with Danny White in the shotgun. Hill has it deflected by Osteen, who made a perfect defensive play.
Osteen has just beaten Monty Jackson out. Jackson, of course, came here from the Rams in a very expensive acquisition. And this kid Osteen just flat has beaten him out. Watch the coverage on this. And as I told you, back there's nobody but you and the receiver. That's good coverage.
Raphael Septien has made an appearance on the field along with his holder on the right side of your picture, Charlie Waters.
You know, he's attempted the fewest field goals in the entire National Football League.
Hasn't really had to, as they scored 52 touchdowns now. This one is going to be from 53 yards out. Perhaps a little bit of a helping wind, more cross than behind.
He's 0 for 4 from this distance.
That one might be good. It is. Septien from 53 yards out.
The young man that was born in Mexico City, and his dad was a very top soccer player himself. It was low, but it was right on, wasn't it? A knockdown shot.
The Raiders put very little rush on, and he had time to do it.
TCR Crossfire Racing, only possible on the wide open track. For the first time, 2 loops connected by 4 lanes of no man's land called Crossfire Alley. To win this race, you must stay on the suicide loop and risk a head-on collision with a jam car. So every lap becomes a countdown of nerves, speed, and lane-changing skill. And only TCR's got it. TCR Crossfire Racing, wide open racing from Ideal.
Need your help. Is it me or my 1981 Toyota Corolla? Watch. See what I mean? I know Corolla looks like a million, got plenty of style, not to mention a peppy 1.8-liter engine. But I ask you, is it me or my Toyota Corolla?
Give me a ride to the library?
Tell me, was it me or my Toyota Corolla?
Oh, what a feeling! Your Corolla! Toyota!
Septien's field goal, they say now, is 52 yards, which is the longest he has ever kicked.
He had 2 51-yarders.
Keith Moody kicked for Oakland. Swings to the outside with some blockers in front. And a lot of blockers. Fumble. And Dallas may have it back. The Cowboys have the football. They lead 10-7. Recovery by Doug Cosby.
And what a great run back by Moody. Here's the kick. I tell you, Septien is getting pretty good distance. Let's see where this one comes down. Well, this isn't too good. This is about the 13-yard line. Now the wedge forms. Boy, they're in pretty good shape here.
Look at the blockers in front of him when he gets up close to midfield.
Septien is getting ready to make the tackle. He was withdrawing just temporarily.
But Dallas winds up with the football. They'll have it 1st and 10.
Sony introduces the art of watching television. The Sony Betamax lets you record and see what you want when you want, to summon into your home a world of wonder. And a remarkable feature called Beta Scan lets you scan forward and reverse to quickly find any single image. Betamax transforms the act of watching television into the art of watching television.
Your show is about to begin.
Sony, the one and only.
Come experience what lies beyond the sports car. American Motors introduces Eagle SX4, the new 4-wheel drive sport machine. Eagle SX4 outcorners Trans Am in soft sand, out-accelerates Mustang Turbo in loose dirt, outbrakes MGB on dry pavement. Plus, the 4-wheel drive Eagle SX4 beats them all in gas mileage. Experience driving in the 4th dimension with American Motors.
Wednesday, when Blue Flu strikes the department, Enos becomes a one-man police force.
Promise me it ain't something crazy. Keep up with that.
Enos, Wednesday night.
Keith Moody with the football. Guy Brown is number 59 approaching.
This was Moody's longest return of the year, but this one ends up with a fumble. Boy, they had good blocking out in front. Guy Brown made him cough it up.
And Doug Cosby made the recovery. 1st and 10, Dallas. Their own 46. They lead 10-7. Garcep with the football. Out near the 50. Dave Browning is the Raider who made the initial contact, number 73. The Lions, 23. The Cardinals, 17.
There's the old bomber pilot from World War II. The head coach for 21 seasons. He's now the winningest of all active coaches in the National Football League.
Behind Hallis and Wambo. 2nd and 6 at the 50. The fake. Danny White keeps the football, throws to Dupree. Wide open is Billy Joe Dupree. Inside the 20. Inside the 15-yard line is Dupree. Good fake by Danny White.
Good play selection. Danny Reeves is up in the booth, and they must have picked this up. Watch the good fakes. The fake here, and pulling people the other way. Springs went back the other way. Now Dupree just comes through the cleared out area. Tony Hill's going straight up, and BJ begins to turn it upfield.
Watch the block by Drew Pearson right there.
That's number 26 for Billy Joe.
First down, Dallas, just outside the 10, between the 10 and the 11. They can make a first down without scoring. 11:29 left, second quarter. The Cowboys lead the Raiders 10-7. Kenny Newsom in the backfield with Dorsett down. Dorsett runs into Rafferty, and now runs inside the 10 and goes out of bounds about the 7. Dwayne Osteen.
Did you realize he still had time to recover and made yardage on a play that looked like it was doomed? Looks to me like Dorsett is beginning to get the ribs together now and wants to make some tracks. Rafferty pulls, the big Penn Stater. They call him rough. He bangs into Dorsett. Usually this puts a ball carrier in real jeopardy, but he still had time to pick up a couple.
Play game 4, so it'll be 2nd and 6.
This year he's cut the fumble down, too. He's only lost 6 fumbles all season.
That's James Jones now, who has replaced Dorsett. He and Newsom, the back. Newsom down to about the 2. Newsom, the biggest of the Cowboy backs, goes almost 230. Matuzak made the tackle.
They ran right at Matuzak. Can tell you, Newsom made a real good little move at the line of scrimmage and went outside on it.
3-yard line.
Watch the adjustment that the fullback has to make on this. He starts to go inside, picks up a good block by Rafferty, who's sealing off things, and gets it down deep inside.
3rd down and 2. A little confusion now as the Dallas substitution schedule gets a little rattled, and Danny White calls a timeout.
I was talking to Wilford Whizzer White, Danny's father, last night for a little bit of the time, and I said, do you ever give Danny any advice? And he said, I don't want to foul him up.
Quite a football player himself. Dallas on the move again, and the Cowboys lead the Oakland Raiders 10-7. Only the 2nd regular season meeting ever between these two.
Well, looks like you lead a comfortable life.
I do okay.
Now, let me tell you something. You do better in comfortable clothes. Like Hager Magic Stretch.
Hey, a stretch waistband.
Special stretch woven fabric, too.
Nice.
And Hager has lots of great looks that won't squeeze your wallet. In Hager Magic Stretch, you'll feel as good as you look.
What could be better?
You couldn't ask for more than Hager, especially for the holidays.
Mustang. The sky's the limit for 1981. Now Mustangs available with a rakish new T-roof. Mustang, born to run with the wind, sure-footed to handle quick turns. Mustang, a world of high gas mileage you might not expect from such a high-spirited car. Mustang! Capture a Mustang, America's most popular sports car. From the world of better ideas at Ford.
The Chicago Bears, accused of having a dull offense, got it shined today, 55-7, and it's not over yet, over Green Bay. The most points they've scored since 1965.
They beat San Francisco, didn't they, that time?
And Walter Payton passed Larry Zonka to go into 6th place on the all-time rushing list in the NFL. Handoff, touchdown, Ron Springs, behind the block by Saldi. Dallas moves out in front now, 16-7. Atlanta has already beaten Philadelphia, so the Cowboys could move into a first-place tie.
Oakland has 19 yards rushing. They just haven't had a chance to have the football. Dallas gets the ball and keeps it. Straight ahead, Springs goes. Good-looking blocking. They cut everybody down. They got those big fellas cut down. And, boy, they're tough to rush against. Incredible. Dallas now has over 90 yards rushing and 83 passing. They're moving the football.
Waters holding and pointing. Septian will kick. Out of those hands. Good. Hits the upright. Not good. And that breaks his streak.
At 52 in a row, huh?
This year he had 77, I think. 78 after he made that first one today. And that breaks his string. That was the longest one active in the NFL.
He hit it dead center.
The upright. And so it's Dallas 16, Oakland 7.
When I was coaching, I was the boss. I used to feed them, dress them, get them to bed on time. Now I treat them to our favorite beer, right?
Light beer from Miller.
Light's got a third less calories than the regular beer. And what else?
It's less filling, Red.
And they really like the taste. Another beer, anyone?
Yeah.
What's the magic word? Please.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
We're gonna keep moving on today.
We can't afford to hesitate. Come on along, participate. Conserving energy every day. Alcoa and aluminum know the way. We can't wait.
We're doing it now.
We can't wait.
We'll show you how.
Alcoa can't wait.
We can't wait for tomorrow.
Next Saturday, you might see 1984's Olympians as CBS Sports brings you the World Junior Figure Skating Championships and the Great American Truck Race, all part of a Super Sports Saturday next week on CBS.
That scoring drive by Dallas, 5 plays, the big one, pass to Dupre, the touchdown by Springs, and now the kickoff to Ira Matthews by Septian. Matthews has some room, stays on his feet. Out to the 30-yard line where Oakland will take over.
Dallas has had the ball for 12 minutes and 45 seconds. Oakland, 6.5 minutes. See that possession? See, you can't score without it. It just seems like Plunkett's offense, except for the one drive that they took in, they hadn't had the ball very much.
That was the opening time. And Plunkett hit Raymond Chester with a touchdown pass. You look over at the Cowboy bench, and what a clear blue day it is in California. On the cool side, but delightful. The Giants 6, Seattle nothing up in Seattle. Phil Simms not playing. Scott Brunner's their quarterback today. Kenny King and Mark Van Egan in the backfield. Plunkett fakes, looks, throws. Short game to
Van Egan,
Mark Van Egan, and stopped by Brunig. I had to look for the number.
Big pressure by Dallas that time. Randy White and company arrived just as Plunkett was tiptoeing trying to get the ball out of there. I really look for a lot of pressure from the pass rush as Dallas begins to get the line of scrimmage under control. But by the way, the Oakland offensive line averages about 270 pounds across.
That is a pretty good average right there. Number 78 is John Dutton. That average is about 270. Complete to Bob Chandler. Benny Barnes out there on the coverage. But a first down, Oakland. Good throw from Plunkett.
Boy, he had to throw it right through the hands. Watch the pressure. The left part of your screen. Watch D.D. Lewis will fire. And Too Tall jumps up too. And Plunkett stayed right in there and gunned it. And Chandler is a very cute receiver. Here's the flex defense. D.D. faked and then went on the late blitz. Watch Lewis almost get the ball.
Trade for Chandler is another one that the Raiders are very satisfied with. Got in from Buffalo for Phil Comipiano. Even up. Plunkett. Ball deflected and tended over the middle for Raymond Chester. Bob Brunig deflected it.
Good play by Brunig. Let's see it. He's right in the middle now. He's got a read pass. Now he's got to get out of there and look for the short zone. Dutton is putting a pretty good pass rush on. He was cut down by Mickey Marvin and still got close.
They're doubling on Randy White with Dalby and Upshaw.
You've got to double him or your quarterback won't come out of the huddle.
Plunkett in somewhat of a slump in recent weeks. Sends Chester in motion to the left. Plunkett under pressure again. Still finds Chandler, who shakes one tackler and stays on his feet as knocked out bounds inside the 40 to 38. Plunkett hung in there.
And I mean to tell you, the pocket is being squeezed right around the young man from Stanford. Watch this pressure now. White to the top. That's Dutton to the bottom. Ed Jones is in there. They all arrived, and Plunkett stayed right in and even got to see the completion. Chandler is a lot like Jimmy Orr or Raymond Berry. And I'm only saying that because he's worked on individual moves, and he's a very clever, well-conditioned athlete. He almost gets out of the jam.
Why would you ever be willing to trade him? Chandler's fit, a bit wide to the right. Branch out to the left. Plunkett gets on the delay. With Kenny King. King still fighting.
On a bad wheel.
John Dutton finally put the clamp down.
What a runner he is. You know, he played fullback at Oklahoma when Sims and company were there, so he was always diving into the line, sometimes getting the ball, sometimes not, but they tested him out. They said this is one of the great outside runners in the league.
The Cardinals 24, the Lions 23. Very important game to Detroit. Not over yet. Raiders on the move now against this Dallas defense that's played well the last 2 or 3 weeks. 35-yard line. 2nd and 6. 16-7 Dallas leads. Ira Matthews in the backfield with Van Egan. This is Matthews. Ira struggling and fighting and close to a first down. Let's now go to Brent Musburger in the NFL today.
Pat, this may be the biggest play of the year in the NFC Central. Tom Skladany of Detroit with the punt. The Lions ahead of the St. Louis Cardinals. Green fields, it starts right down the middle, and an alley opens, and suddenly he's gone. A 57-yard punt return for a touchdown. They kick the extra point. They lead the Lions 24-23. Minnesota has already won. Quickly back to Pat Summerall.
Third and 1 here in Oakland.
2 tight ends in there, Pat.
Bob Brennan just ripped off the field. Kenny King breaks into the Dallas secondary. Dennis Thurman, the only man with a chance, and Thurman made the tackle.
King comes in with over 700 yards. Again, he got the bad foot sprain. Didn't work out much of the week, but he can really trip it. Watch the footwork. You talk about fast feet. Van Egan gets a good block on the outside. Look at the move by King. He uses Mickey Marvin's block. Bad foot and all, he is really some good-looking ball carrier.
I watched him in practice yesterday, and if I were a betting man, I would have bet you anything that he wouldn't be able to play. First down Oakland, just outside the 10.
He's got the juices running now.
They can make the first without making the touch. Plunkett looking and throwing. Bob Chandler not able to stay in bounds. Benny Barnes slipped down. If Chandler had been able to stay in bounds, he could have walked in.
Ed Jones just buried Plunkett. In fact, when Plunkett was under him, you couldn't even see Plunkett's jersey. Watch number 72. He comes up the middle on a stunt. And I mean, just completely broke him down legally. Would you like to have that come down on top of it?
The story of Jim Plunkett is one, of course, throughout his career at college and the pros, and maturing, one of great courage. It always has been.
Well, he hangs tough. And, you know, a lot of people said he'd gotten shy and everything else, but he's staying closer to his blockers today, and they're having a heck of a time keeping the Cowboys off of him anyway.
The Giants 13, Seattle nothing.
Remember, down here once in a while, he'll bring in Derek Ramsey, who used to be the big quarterback at Kentucky. He becomes the second tight end, and he's a heck of a pass receiver. They like to sneak him out.
They think he's the tight end of the future here in Oakland, or if they decide to go to a double tight end offense, he's certainly the answer to that. And that's one of the reasons they were willing to let go of Dave Casper.
You know, I've never seen anybody stand in the face of a rush and complete the passes that he's doing today.
Next Saturday will be in our nation's capital for the Giants against the Redskins. Redskins had a big day today against San Diego, and the Giants are beating Seattle 13-0.
Hope they don't waste it all. It'd be nice to have a real good contest, huh?
That game, which of course is one of the oldest rivalries in the NFL, is always interesting, no matter what the records. Timeouts remaining, Oakland all 3. Dallas just used another one as they had some confusion on defense. Cowboys lead the Raiders 16-7 in only the second meeting ever in regular season between these two. Saints and the 49ers. New Orleans still haven't won a game all year, but now they're on the track. They lead the 49ers 21-7.
It's only been one penalty called in the game, and that was Randy White's head slap in that first drive.
Second and what looks to be about 4.
Dallas is thinking pass. They just brought Dickerson back in there to get some kind of a short yardage with a little bit of a nickel field behind it.
The Oakland runners are Kenny King and Mark Van Egan. Plunkett looks, throws high to Chester, can't hang on. He was open. Let's now go to Brent Musburger and the NFL Today.
All right, Pat, here's what you mentioned with regard to the New York Giants. Scott Bruner filling in for the injured Phil Simms. Hit on this 49-yard scoring pass to Ernest Gray. You'll see the Giants and the Redskins next Saturday. It's 13-0 Giants. Back to Pat Summerall.
Back in Oakland, just down the West Coast. Dallas 16. Oakland 7.
That ball was right on the numbers. I've never seen Chester drop many, but that one was right there.
It's almost like he didn't pick it up, didn't it?
He was open, too.
Wide open. D.D. Lewis is back covering the tight end. But Raymond Chester had 2 or 3 steps. Aaron Matthews in the backfield now. With Plunkett throwing high, looking for Ramsey. Looking for Van Egan, I beg your pardon.
Great coverage by Aaron Mitchell. Aaron Mitchell even had the presence of mind to turn around and play the ball in the end zone. Again, now it looks like a power sweep coming against short yardage. So you come up to face the block, and he turns into receiver. Look at this play by Mitchell.
So now we have Chris Barr on the scene of the kicking plan of Bars. B-A-H-R. With Bob Chandler holding.
He's 10 of 14 up to the 39. He's got pretty good feel for it right where it is now.
He had a tough time last week, as we mentioned before. And they had all kind of people showing up this week. Field goal is good to audition for the kicking job. In fact, Barr said to me yesterday at practice, "What are you doing here? Did you come for a tryout?"
Well, you know what they say, everybody wants to be a kicker until Sunday.
Very true.
The 1981 Honda Prelude is a pleasure to look at in many different ways. You can look at it as a sporty car with front-wheel drive and sleek, racy looks. You can look at it as a comfortable car with a luxurious interior and power steering that comes with the optional automatic. You can look at it as an economy car. After all, it is a Honda. But then again, you can look at it like this.
Honda, we make it simple. Wait till you see how good you can be with Minolta XG1.
Hey, you want to see some terrific pictures?
Depend on the automatic Minolta XG1 to give you clear, sharp pictures. It does the work. You take the credit.
Yeah,
Hey, do you want to see some terrific pictures? No.
Yeah, look.
That's lovely.
For a limited time, get an XG1 and get a $25 rebate from Minolta. See your dealer now for details.
Thursday, December 11th, the special 2-hour premiere of Magnum P.I. Even with Hawaii as a playground, Magnum's idea of fun is danger. A special 2-hour premiere, December 11th.
Had the track meet at Soldier Field in Chicago. The Bears leading the Packers now 61-7. Vince Evans, a great day. Steve Wilson on the return. Wilson looking for room to the outside and got some. Steve Wilson out of bounds outside the 40.
That's Martini, I think, chasing him, or is that Derek Ramsey? Is
Derek Ramsey.
Boy, Wilson's been, the young cornerback's had sort of a bad foot. Looked like he got it going pretty good shape that time.
Good to see his father and have a chance to visit with touchdown Tommy Wilson last night. 34-yard return.
Here it is. He takes it up the left side, decides to bend it back. This young man is really a good football player. From offensive flanker and run back to a cornerback this year, and he played extremely well. Just a good effort right here.
So it's 16-10 with 6:17 left in the first half in Oakland. First and 10 at the 42. Dorsett and Springs. Dupree in motion. White drops and throws. Springs open. Ron Springs gets about 8. Bob Nelson, the tackler. Danny White on target today.
And really beginning to set his feet down and throw the solid, smooth throw. He does not have the strong gun that number 12 had, but some people think he's going to be maybe as good a quarterback because of his intelligence about the game and the way he handles the other people he works with.
He is closing in on a bevy of Cowboy records now for the season. 2nd and 2 at the 49. Double tight end set up for Dallas. Drew Pearson in motion. White gives to Dorsett, and Dorsett has some room. Dorsett will have the first down. It looked like he might break for a minute. Mike Davis, though, made sure that he didn't go further.
Rafferty would really be mad, though. Rafferty had the block set up for him, and Tony just cut to the outside, and the man recovered and made the tackle. I think he just said something to the guy they call Ruff, number 64. Watch him go on through the hole, takes Tony through cleanly, and now he has it set up. If Dorsett had cut back inside, he might have gone.
Word on Bob Brunig is that he has a bruised knee, but probably will be back to play some more. First down, Dallas at the Oakland 47. Cowboys lead 16-10. Less than 5 left in the first half. White trying to get away, fumbles. I'm not sure if they call it a fumble. Yes, they do.
Watch Martin now. Rod Martin, number 53. He comes in, spins out. Watch him make Scott miss him. The linebacker takes the inside move. Scott misses him. Danny White now has the problem.
Scott has the football.
Yep.
I could hit the helmet.
Tell you, that Martin made some move to get around Scott. He doesn't miss many people cleanly like that. A juggling act by White.
So it'll make it 2nd and 19. Back in the Dallas territory now at the 44. The 3 wide receivers set up again. Butch Johnson to the left. Drew Pearson and Tony Hill to the right. The handoff is to Dorsett. Nothing doing for Tony this time. And White will stay in a punt. I beg your pardon, it's just 3rd down now.
Remember that this Oakland defense is 35% on 3rd down conversions against them. With this much yardage, it'd be a good time to make sure the play is probably anticipating the punt. That might not be a bad way to think about this one.
In Dallas, the 2nd best team in the entire league in 3rd down conversions.
Yeah, they're right at 50% all the time.
But not in this situation. 3rd and 21. Back at their own 42.
A 4-man rush coming.
They maneuver into the shotgun, and it might be more than a 4-man rush. Cowboys do manage to pick it up. Dupree down deep. Almost made a catch. Lester Hayes is saying it was offensive interference, and Dupree almost came up with it.
Boy, Lester Hayes can really play the corner, the young Texas Aggie. He's one of the best-looking man-to-man defenders that I've seen all year. Maybe in a long, long time. Good throw by Danny White. Tremendous protection by the line. Dupree goes for the ball. They made some minor banging up there, but I think that's part of football.
So White will stay in the punt, and Ira Matthews, the speedy one, number 43, back deep for the Raiders at his own 15. White. A high kick that will be fielded by Matthews. It is. Chased by Anthony Dickerson and out of bounds on the far side of the field. Benny Barnes, the first man down there.
Matthews is only about 5'8", but he's from the legs, from the waist down, he's about 6'2". He's got very long legs and he's strong, and he's really one of the good run back people. They drafted him out of Wisconsin. He can play.
Raiders have 3 timeouts left in the first half. 3 minutes, 14 seconds left to play in this first half. The regional games next Sunday. The Saints against the Jets. The Cardinals, Eagles. Cardinals beat the Eagles earlier in the year, you might recall. The 49ers, Falcons. Falcons now enjoying a 2-game lead over Los Angeles, and the Buccaneers and the Lions. Cowboys will be in Los Angeles next Monday night. 1st and 10. Oakland will play in Denver. Bucket struggles out of the trouble. And ducks under the surge, led by Mike Hegman out to the 30-yard line.
You talk about trouble, Patrick. Too Tall Jones and company all went honey. Watch this. That's Randy White to the right, makes a spin, does not get away from Upshaw. Look on the right side. And Plunkett keeps it together and comes upfield and takes what he can get and then gets down.
Is it your impression that Too Tall Jones gets a little bit stronger every week?
He claims that the boxing education didn't help his jaw any, but really got him in shape.
Second and 4. The draw play, a little bit shy of a first by Kenny King. Martin, the first Dallas Cowboy on the scene.
Big Henry Lawrence was slow getting up, the offensive right tackle, who is one of the best drive blocking tackles in all of football, number 70.
This information on the sideline doesn't mean a heck of a lot to a lot of people, but it does to those concerned.
Oh, Earl Liggett, isn't it?
Yeah.
Used to be the Chicago Bear, and I mean a big bear.
The Saints 28-7 now over the 49ers. 2 minutes left to play in the first half. It's Dallas 16, Oakland 10.
Hi, I'm Drew Pearson of the Dallas Cowboys. Being a high school athlete was a great experience, but even way back then, it was tough being a teenager. I had to make some pretty big decisions, selecting a college, planning my career, and even making a choice about drinking. Today, alcohol abuse is a real problem among young people. That's why it's so important for parents to help their teenagers with straight talk about alcohol. Like pro athletes, teenagers need good coaching, especially with big decisions. Having the right information when you need it about drinking or not drinking can mean the difference between being a winner and not making the grade. This free booklet, Straight Talk About Alcohol, can help you guide your son or daughter to make the right decisions. For your free copy, write Education Commission of the States, Box 687, Denver, Colorado, 80201. Send for it today and help your teenager be a winner for life.
The preceding announcement was furnished as a public service by the National Football League. These folks here would not like the idea of the Raiders leaving to go elsewhere.
This is only the second sellout this season, right?
Right.
This is a short yardage situation, so you got the two big tight ends in there.
Derek Ramsey and Raymond Chester. That is a very true banner you just saw. The Oakland Raiders are the only team to ever put together 16 consecutive winning seasons. Plunkett looks outside to Ramsey and has him. And that'll be enough for a Raider first down.
And Harvey Martin was really whistling in from the right defensive end spot. I don't know how Plunkett got it off.
That's the final score. The Cardinals beat the Lions 24-23. So Detroit now drops to 7-7. Minnesota improves their record to 8-6, and so the Vikings move into first place in the NFC Central. Quiet team that nobody thought would do anything, but somehow Bud Grant gets it done in Minnesota. Plunkett under pressure again, being chased, and throws deflected by Dennis Thurman.
The under safety man, again, they were in the what looked like was a nickel defense. Plunkett is scrambling extremely well, but notice the dirt and the grass stains on his back. When your quarterback's got that in the first half, he is having to work hard at it. The rush is coming, but he's handling it. He moves out now, but he's not doing it in panic. It's a pretty good throw. And Thurman makes a good play.
D.D. Lewis again on a blitz. It was intended for Chandler. Giants in Seattle now 13-7 second quarter. Giants leading.
Now you got the right formation. You got Branch in the slot and Chandler on this side.
And Morris Bradshaw out to the left. Plunkett. This time the protection was better. Plunkett again eludes him. Randy Hughes. Intended for Cliff Branch, and Randy Hughes, who came.
It's going to be interference call. The flag was dropped. The flag was dropped over near Steve Wilson, who was playing, but Hughes actually bumped into the receiver. Here it is, a big rush again. Man, there's some bodies being thrown around the line of scrimmage. Harvey Martin had the last shot, and Ed Too Tall Jones cut off that right before the picture picked it up, is when Hughes bumped into the receiver. That's Bradshaw over there?
That was Branch that time. But Bradshaw was in along with Bob Chandler. Bears and the Packers 61-7, and that's the final score.
Bears must like Thanksgiving Day celebrations.
Must be thinking about that point differential again. Got them into the playoffs last year. So the Bears remain alive. Their record is 6-8. Green Bay 5-8-1. Long trip back north. Plunkett. Out of bounds. Intended for Branch.
Branch trying to run the straight. Good coverage and double coverage. You just can't let Cliff Branch run around by himself. As we said, in high school, he ran a 9.300. Went to Colorado and was one of the great returners, I guess, in the history of college football. He had an 80-some-odd yarder against the Eagles, and nobody even saw him. Went into a shadow and came out the other end with 80-some-odd yards.
By the way, with these playoff possibilities, and there are so many, with the fact that the Cardinals beat Detroit today, that assures Dallas of at least a wild card spot in the playoffs. 2nd and 10 at the 45 for Oakland. Plunkett once again. Penalty marker down. High pass. Thurman almost had it again.
It might have been called for offensive holding, but I'll tell you that on the line of scrimmage, the pass blocking that time was tremendous. Because Dallas is really twisting and steaming, and Stautner's got him hot to get to the quarterback. And Plunkett's getting pretty good protection. Let's see where the call is.
Jerry Markbright, the referee. Line of scrimmage, the 45.
You realize
mark it off.
When Dutton and Too Tall and Randy White are in there.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 65, offense, a blow to the head, 2nd down.
That's Mickey Marvin, number 65, the offensive right guard, facing John Dutton.
Actually, they have 3 number 1s and a number 3 draft choice on the line of scrimmage when you have Harvey Martin, Randy White, Dutton, and, of course, Ed Too Tall Jones. That's quality.
So it'll be 2nd and 25. The Raiders back in their own territory now at the 40. Dallas up 16-10. Penalty marker down. Straight ahead goes Kenny King.
I'd like to see him when he is really 100% healthy. He looks to me like a coming young back in this league. Branch gave the head linesman back his flag.
Kenny King had some pretty good running back teammates back in his days at Oklahoma. At the half, Brent Musburger talks to 2 of the most successful head coaches, certainly of this year, and in Landry's case many years, Sam Rutigliano of the Cleveland Browns. Penalty against Dallas. They were offside.
Offside, number 79, defense, 2nd down.
You know, Gene Upshaw, number 63, is playing his 200th consecutive football game, starting at left guard. That is some kind of a record as far as I'm concerned.
That's in regular season. If you count the preseason games that he started, it would be 290. Dallas showing blitz, and then they back off. Plunkett fires, complete to Branch. Back to the 40-yard line in Dallas territory, Anthony Dickerson, the Cowboy tackler.
Great pass protection. Watch the offensive line for Oakland really go out and take the Dallas players on the line of scrimmage. They're going to keep the pocket. It's man-to-man blocking. Even the twist and the stunt by Harvey Martin didn't fool Upshaw, and then they stayed right with it. Watch 63 now. Harvey's coming to the inside. Upshaw says, okay, Shell's got Randy White. I'll wait for number 79. Here he is. Good blocking on the line of scrimmage.
It'll be 3rd down for Oakland and 5 at the Dallas 40. The Cowboys leading 16-10. Oakland's timeout. Chris Barr over on the sideline. As someone said in the paper here Saturday, kickers are like your car. Until they break down, you don't miss them.
We're talking about injuries and all. At this time of the season, usually teams are bunged up, you know. But the Cowboys, for some reason, their off-season training schedule with Ward in there working on the weights and the stuff, they are really amazingly free of injury at this time.
And, of course, the 10-day layoff after the Thanksgiving Day game doesn't hurt that situation at all.
Gets the legs back, you know.
3rd and 5. Dallas blitz is picked up well. And Plunkett throws well to Raymond Chester. First down, stopped by Randy Hughes, but Oakland moves it.
Safety blitz came, and you're right. They just went up there, Van Egan did, and stopped it.
Quick count. Plunkett just trying to stop the clock. Crowd thought that pass interference perhaps should have been called on Aaron Mitchell, as Branch was the Oakland receiver closest to it.
Looked like Mitchell might have made some contact, which is what he tries to do. He's supposed to do that within the 5-yard limit, but Mitchell looks around like, I didn't do anything wrong.
And the officials agreed with him. So it'll be 2nd and 10 from the 31.
Watch Chandler down close.
20 seconds to go in the first half. Oakland still has 2 timeouts remaining. Plunkett brings them out. And he dropped. Plunkett stays on his feet and finally goes down. Looked like he disappeared one time and then all of a sudden appeared again. Anthony Dickerson, the blitzer, and Oakland will use another timeout. They still have one left.
Randy White came under the pile. Harvey Martin came over the top, and Dickerson added in. Watch this. A great play by Plunkett. In fact, Harvey Martin can't believe that Plunkett's still standing. Looks like Custer up in the Black Hills.
Remind you of Roman Gabriel a little bit. Remember how hard he was to get down back there? It was like a tree trunk.
He used to take a tremendous beating, though. They'll finally get to you. Much better to load it up and fire it somewhere and live to play again.
A delightful, cool afternoon in Oakland at the Oakland Alameda County Coliseum. Sellout crowd, as Tom Brookshire mentioned before, only the second one they've had this year. I'm talking to Al Davis before the game about what is the situation as far as their desired move to Los Angeles. He said rather not discuss it at the moment. Just like to keep our football team's mind on football. They've done such a good job. We'd like for them not to be distracted.
We were talking today. They've had 3 coaches of the year here. Al Davis himself, John Madden, of course, and Johnny Roush, who took them to that first Super Bowl, Super Bowl #2. Quite a tradition, huh?
In some organization. 3rd and 17. Plunkett with time. Looking deep. Knocked away at the last minute. Again, Dennis Thurman. 8 seconds left on the scoreboard clock. One more timeout for Oakland with that pass incomplete. Of course, that stops the clock.
Thurman's not fast enough or big enough to play in this league. That's the reason he hustles so much, and he's one of the best young defensive secondary guys playing right now. Bradshaw brings in a little help. Plunkett does call most of his own plays, but Tom Flores, the former quarterback you mentioned, is right in the helmet with Plunkett. They must talk about it a lot during the week.
4th and 17. They obviously feel they're out of range for Barr. So they'll go for a little bit closer. Plunkett again. Penalty marker down. Plunkett throws low on the hop. Intended for Branch.
I think it's on Dallas. The Oakland players, including Plunkett, are pointing down toward the other end of the field. You notice what Plunkett is doing, though? He is not taking the real deep drop. He's staying and letting his blockers work for him.
Preliminary indication is defensive holding, and that might get him in range for Barr.
Barr is 4 for 15, over 40 yards.
And now they say personal foul.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 54, defense, a head slap, first down.
That is twice that Randy White has been called for head slapping.
I think he and That's Double D. Dalby's the big offensive center who stays right in there. Dalby did not retaliate, which is a sign of a cool veteran, huh?
And now Dallas will use their last timeout. Brunig calls it. Give Barr a little time to think about what it is he has to do. His field goal will be from about 40 yards out.
He's 4 for 15. This is just about the limit of his range, I would imagine. And yet he kicks off pretty well. He gets the ball to the end zone rather well.
That is twice in this first half that Randy White has been called for an illegal head slap.
Pat, the rules for the offensive linemen that they can now stick both fists and extend them all the way out. They really can lay a battering on you over the period of a half or so when you're throwing the ball a lot the way Plunkett is doing today. And I would imagine there's a lot of frustration, especially with a guy like Randy White.
And of course, he faces those double teams almost every week. Next Saturday at 12 noon Eastern Time, it'll be the Giants and the Redskins.
Young Scott Brenner against Joe Theismann, who looked like he was operating pretty well today.
San Diego would testify to that as the Redskins just overwhelmed the Chargers. One of the big surprises of the year. Bob Chandler will hold in for Chris Barr. And this will be from 41 yards out. Dallas leading 16-13. A lot of distance. No good. Wide to the right. Last play of the first half. It is Dallas 16, Oakland 10. Started to mention earlier that they had a lot of people who had called up